Hello, everyone. So what are we doing today? So we're running back this deck. I've been running versions of it for a little while now. I've been gradually honing in on what I think makes this deck work. Because last time when I streamed, we saw a lot of ways in which the deck did not work, which was disconcerting to me because I had just been on quite a win streak with it. So I've been trying to figure out what makes the deck feel consistent, what makes it feel less consistent. I've tried Avacyn's Pilgrims, I've tried Invasion of Ixalan, I've tried a lot of different things. This is where the list currently sits. Okay, so what are we doing? Well, let's get these down here, and let's just move those over because I'm usually not casting those until turn 4. So what we're doing is our first game plan is to defend against aggro creatures with Lonely End and Fatal Push. Lonely End, if you're unfamiliar, is an arena-only card. They give something -3/-3 or removes 3 loyalty counters from a planeswalker. And if you weren't the starting player, you gain 3 life. That 3 life adds up. If you're recurring this with Timeless Witness loops, it's very effective at combating aggro decks. The other thing that we're doing is we're making some deals. And we are selling our opponents these brand new, never before used, one-of-a-kind Juggernauts, utterly game-changing in the industry, and there is nothing that our opponent can do to stop purchasing Juggernauts from this individual. Because we're going to be selling Juggernauts through this very talented salesman, we need to defend ourselves from Juggernauts. So how are we doing that? We're doing that with Blade Splicer. Blade Splicer notably makes a 3/3 first strike golem. It's notably very good with Ephemerate, and 3/3 first strike golems notably are very good at blocking X3s that have to attack every single combat if able. We are also blinking Combat Thresher, both so that we can Eldritch Evolution it into Serra's Emissary or Atraxa, or just so that we have a 3/3 with Double Strike that Juggernauts run into and die upon. The Juggernauts also make our Malakir Rebirths a little bit better because they can help us trigger conditions under which we can cast the spell for value. And that's kind of like the early game. Once we, obviously we have Skyclave Apparition, another very good thing to ephemerate. New card here, the Sleepy Boy. This Sleepy Boy does a pretty good job with a lot of things. So Tranquil Frillback just came out yesterday, I think. And it's 3 for a 3/3, enters the battlefield. You can pay green mana up to 3 times. When you pay this cost 1 or more times, you can choose up to that many of the following. It's a disenchant. You can exile a player's graveyard, and you can gain 4 life. So this is fulfilling a spot that traditionally I've been trying to meet with multiple different cards. I have had Callous Blood Mage in the deck as a kind of blinkable way to exile people's graveyards, or, if you don't need to exile a graveyard, it has other modes too, like making a token which can block Juggernauts, or drawing a card at the expense of 1 life. What this thing does is, it does block a Juggernaut. Even if you just play it by itself, it blocks a Juggernaut and trades, and that is better than Callous Blood Mage right out the gate. You do have to pay additional mana for any of its abilities, which can be a downside, but being able to do all 3 of them at once is kind of like a decent mid to late game recurral plan. You can, destroy their Juggernauts with the first ability. You can destroy their Leyline bindings. You can... It's nice having an out like this in the deck, just because it does a bunch of different things. I'm only running 2 because we don't need this effect super frequently. It does come up, but, we don't want to be running a ton of these Tranquil Frillbacks. Also, they need their sleep. So obviously Eldritch Evolution is kind of the main thing that we're doing. Oh, also Tranquil Frillback is a 3-drop, which is important because... so I've done some soul searching, and we're actually running more 5-drops than we have in the past. In some capacities, I've tried more, I've tried less. I'm still looking for what seems to be the magic number, but right now we're running A lot of things out of the sideboard that basically we want them in here for game 1 because we don't know what we're going to be up against, and then we'll probably sideboard out the ones that make the least amount of sense in for other things. So who do we have here? We have Vorinclex. This is the sort of value grab off of an Eldritch Evolution. So just in terms of general game plan, we're gonna like have our early game, and then we're gonna start playing 3-drops, and then the 3-drops are the things that we want to Eldritch Evolution into 5s, and the 5s we want to Eldritch Evolution into either Atraxa or Serra Emissary, depending on which one's going to end the game fastest. So the 5s that we are running that we can Eldritch Evolution into are Herald of Vengeance. Herald of Vengeance could be a one-sided board wipe when it enters the battlefield. It depends on what sort of a deck they're running. At the very least, it's good at kind of mopping up any juggernauts that have managed to hit you. This is probably going to be one of the ones that you side out, but I think it's important to have in here for game 1, just in case, because it does a pretty good cleanup job when you need it to, and you know, it's the sort of card that you want to have access to when you do need it. Cavalier of Dawn is sort of a catch-all removal spell. It hits everything. You can blink it. You can hold off the 3/3 golems with your own golems or with your beefier creatures. And when it dies, it gets you back a combat thresher, which is nice. Massacre Girl, similar to Herald of Vengeance, it's the sort of card that you're not going to need against every deck, but when you really need it, you really need it. So again, it's in here as a sort of emergency 5-drop to get. We do have a couple of X1s to get the party started, if that is what is necessary, and it probably will be necessary. So because of that, I think that running one makes sense. We do have 2 Vivian, the Monster's Advocate. One of the main reasons why I determined that this deck is called Monster Party. What she does is she lets you play creatures from the top of your library. She also makes beast tokens that can have Vigilance, Reach, or Trample. And for -2, when you cast your next creature spell, you can search for a creature card with less mana value, put it onto the battlefield. So this Vivian, basically, her -2 lets you search down the mana cost curve, whereas Eldritch Evolution lets you search up it. So I like Vivian a lot. I've been going back and forth on whether or not she makes sense in this deck. With this current iteration, I think that she does, where we're not running the Battle of Ixalan, which is an interesting card because it does give you like some search. It gives you like, you know, for 2 mana you get to look at the top 5 and get a card. So it does let you pick through things a little bit more efficiently than we're currently doing. That being said, having it like just on top isn't a hit for Vivian, so I don't think it makes sense to run both at the same time. Other cards that we got Sheoldred. Sheoldred I have cut from the deck, and every time I've cut from her from the deck, I have put her back in afterwards because there's just too much in this format that she hits and is good against. She hits Planeswalkers, which is very good. She hits Invisible Stalkers, which is also very good. She hits Serra Emissary after they've resolved their Indomitable Ingenuity for 2 or whatever, and they have Serra's Emissary on instant and creature. Then you can say, okay, well, that sucks, but I'm going to Sheoldred and then blink my Sheoldred, and then your creatures are gone. So then we get to play the game again. And yeah, I think I mentioned before, but Vorinclex is just kind of the value 5-drop that you get. It can also reanimate things if you need it to. I don't think I've ever gotten to the 3rd chapter of this card, but it does seem neat. But mostly, if you can transform it, you're getting like an Atraxa or a Serra's Emissary into the battlefield, so that usually kind of ends the game on its own. But distributing counters is obviously decent if you can get to it, because we have double strikers, but you know, you don't really plan for that sort of stuff to happen. And of course, at the top, we got Serra's Emissary and Atraxa, our big 7-drops that we're going to Eldritch Evolution into, or presumably also hardcast at times because of Vorinclex. So this is Sarah's Emissary is a card that I have kind of struggled with learning how to play it correctly in a deck like this. I have at times thought that it just made the most sense to cut her basically whenever, because she can only name one card type, and they're invariably going to have a varied, like removal suite, unless they are very specifically like a very creature-focused deck. So I was like, it's not that great. But the thing is as long as you're not naming instant, you get to like blink her and or Malak or Rebirth her to get her switched over to something else potentially, which is a powerful tool to have at your disposal. So I've been leaving her in more, and I've been like more or less happy with those sorts of results. So gradually just kind of learning the play patterns involved in this deck and how to optimize them. But in general, this is what we're going with here. So far, it's been doing okay. I think when last we left this deck, I was like, I had fallen out of the numbers, and I'm back up to within the 400s. So turnaround of the century, deck is perfect, can do no wrong, etc., etc. But it is an 80 card deck. It can be inconsistent, and as we saw in the stream that I did last time, when it doesn't work, the deck looks like just hot garbage. It looks like it would never work, unless you're seeing it actually like win games, and then you're like, oh, okay, I can see how like all of these parts sort of fit together. But again, as with any sort of intricate enmeshment between different moving parts, the single grain of sand can get in the gears and sometimes mess things up. So, we're still testing it out. We're still trying to figure out if this deck is any good, because I have gotten very mixed sort of playtesting results from it. But I think the deck is very fun to play, if nothing else. So I think it's worth testing it out and seeing if we can get it to good enough shape so that it can win more consistently. In terms of the sideboard, we have D-Spark for ramp decks and control decks, so that we can hit Planeswalkers, so we can hit Ulamogs, we can hit Ugins, and the like. Witch's Vengeance. There are human decks, there are goblin decks, there are elf decks, and there are wizard decks. So Witch's Vengeance helps hit those. You can also name Juggernaut in a pinch. You never know. Just the only thing is that if you are up against a human deck, just be aware that there are a lot of humans in this deck. Timeless Witness is, in fact, a human, not like Eternal Witness. And I forget if she's a human too, but she wouldn't die from it. But yeah, so we do have Timeless Witness, Blade Splicer, and Juggernaut Peddler as humans in the deck. So just keep that in mind. We have extra Thoughtseizes. Against control decks, we're going to want a full 8 cards of hand disruption. So here are Thoughtseizes for the sideboard. We also have Vanishing Verse as a kind of flex slot. This is good against the mono color decks that are in the format, and it's also good against most, not all obviously, but most of the hyper aggro decks. Most of their early drops, I mean, they only cost a single mana, so they're going to be monocolored. There's no hybrid mana, single mana value hybrid creatures in the format that really matter. Necromentia, this is a card that I keep going back and forth on, but so we're testing it out now. There are some combo decks in the format where we have, because we're mainly dealing with the board and creatures on the board, we don't have a ton of great tools for fighting that other than hand disruption. So we are running Necromentia. One of the cards, like, it is possible that Necromentia should just be something different that also fights against those decks. Like, for example, a couple of cards that I've tested in the past in this sort of spot are Shalai, Voice of Plenty, because it's like, okay, well, you have hexproof. The fact that your other creatures do too is nice too, as well, but this makes it so they're gonna have to Charbelcher Shalai first before they get you. That could buy you enough time to get rid of the Charbelcher. The other card that I was thinking about was Transform Angel might get me there. Yeah, Enduring Angel. So this is another card that I was looking at. We got the blink effect, so it's like, okay, if your life total would be reduced to 0 or less, instead transform this Angel, and your life total becomes 3, and then the clause that made me not play it. Then if Enduring Angel didn't transform in this way, you lose the game. So you can kill yourself very effectively with this in Ephemerate, if you're not paying attention to where things are and how things have stacked up. So, but I think that also your opponent can kill you pretty easily with this creature. All they need to do is save up, like, you know, we're not being completely inscrutable over here. Like, we're running a rogue deck, but it's an Ephemerate deck. People can figure out generally what we're doing, even if they don't know all the pieces that we're using. So they just wait until they have, like, multiple removal, and then make your life total become, you know, 0, and then this thing triggers, and they remove it, and then you're like, okay, I lose because I can't just blink it and hope that things work out, because once this thing already triggers, then, you know, it's too late. That ability's on the stack, and if it doesn't resolve, then you lose the game. So I decided to not run those, and that is instead why we are running Necromentia instead. Again, not 100% sure about this. In the decks where I run the Battle of Ixalan, I run Stonebrain instead, because Battle of Ixalan can find it because it's a permanent. But in this version, we are stuck with Necromentia. So that's the one that I'm like kind of like the least I feel the least sure about. But yeah, overall that's the deck. So we're gonna try to give some folks some Juggernauts, which we're going to hopefully make into a very bad deal for the opponent. So let's just jam some games. Let's see how we do. Let's see if we can get any wins to do better than the last stream where I got no wins, no match wins whatsoever. I forget how many rounds I played because I don't want to remember, because none of them were wins. And so whatever the number is, the larger the number gets, the sadder I feel about it. So also, I did Moobot, so you can type !list if you want to see the list in the chat. And what I'm going to do for the VODs is also put a link to the deck list there as well, in addition to just pasting the actual lists like I have been doing. Because, you know, some folks that might just be an easier way for them to check things out. And, like, the site that I'm using is Moxfield, and you can, like, also, you know, use them to get cards, I guess, if that's something that you want to do. But most importantly, what you can do is you can, like, give the deck a spin. You can draw test hands and stuff like that, which I think is neat. So that's why I am using that particular service. All right. Mistman, have I got a deal for you? Let's play first. Ooh, okay, we're gonna mulligan. Try to get some more lands than that. This one's fine. We're gonna keep, and we're gonna put back. I guess technically Overgrown Farm, because now we have the most options possible. But keeping one or the other, I think, was functionally identical, because there's no reason that we would have needed, like, double green on turn 2. Okay, another new card. Choose a Planeswalker. They have hexproof as long as you control a creature. Okay, so that is going to keep their Gideon alive. Fortunately for me, I have Eldritch Evolution into Shieldred. So we're going to do this. We are going to do this. And we are going to attack. And we are going to Eldritch Evolution. Get a token. Get a Shieldred. Get to hell, Gideon of the Trials. Pretty decent turn 4 there, I think. Ooh, really? In this deck? Okay. they're doing something I haven't seen before. So they are a fellow rogue decker. They're doing something interesting and cool over there. All right, let's be aggressive. 4 cards, okay. Let's toss a witness out there, get back our Malakir Rebirth in case we need it, and pass the turn. What's this do again? Okay, they are digging. Okay, so they're running Pour Over Pages, and that's why I guess they're running Lotus Field. Because they're running Lotus Field and white and blue, I have to assume that they're running like that Stern Proctor card that counters ETB effects unless they pay 2, and also Stifle. So those are 2 cards that I'm going to have to be on the lookout for. I'm, again, assuming. Don't know that for sure, though. How many they got in there? They got 7 in there? Oh, there's the big one. 3, 6, 4. You know what? I'm just getting in there with everything. Whatever. I have a Malakir Rebirth. I have no fear. Opponent deep in the tank, facing down a Sheoldred, facing down a Timeless Witness, facing down a Blade Splicer and 2 Golems, who are benefit from her splicing prowess, her blade knowledge. I guess that's it. She's the one that brings the blades that give these things the first strike. Like, she just physically brings them with her, and then when she leaves the battlefield, she takes them with her as well, I think. Again, I'm not 100% sure. Okay. Let's do this, because I think that I win if I do this. Oh. That's what we're doing, huh? Alright, well, they're gonna have a busy upkeep then. Alright, well, I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna get Malakir Rebirth back again. And pass the turn. Because I'm pretty sure the only thing that kills me here is like a Wrath or something. Which they're not going to have the mana. Okay, so they do have the Stifle. That is confirmed. As long as you control a creature of damage, all but one of those counters are removed. Okay. Alright, Mistman. Okay. Is Mistman gonna stomp me out here? Did they find a Gideon? They find 6 points of burn? They got a Stifle? Alright. Okay. Good game, Mistman. I was like, there's too many things happening here for them to pull this out, but they're not conceding, so who knows? All right, so we got game one. So there, that sort of Gideon take extra turns, swallow the second sun type thing, or actually, I don't know if that's what swallow the second sun actually is. So what do we want for this? I think we do want Vanishing Verse, because that gets rid of Gideon's and also that enchantment. I think that we don't necessarily need Fatal Pushes in this matchup. And I think, actually, we probably don't even need the Lonely Ends. And instead, we're just going to run extra Hand Disruption and see if this works. You know, again, I haven't seen their deck before, really. I've only played against like these sort of Gideon type decks very rarely, and this one seems to be incorporating some newer cards, so I'm not sure what to expect. Ooh. All right. I have properly watered my lungs, and we're good to go for game two. Okay, so yeah, we need to mulligan this one. This is not a great hand. We have all of our mana. Let's just give it a shot, I suppose. All right. Well, I'm glad I kept the Vorinclex if we're just going to have a ton of lands on our hands. Alright. Stifled. Alright. Let's see what they're up to. They got a Crucius. They got rid of a Supreme Verdict. Interesting. They're going for Ambitious. Doesn't really make sense here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my hit and plan for the future. Next turn, next turn I have Choop. Turn after we have Vorinclex, maybe even Vivian, depending on what they are doing. Opponent really is pouring over these pages. Alright, so Stifle, Supreme Verdict, Suppressive Iteration, Pour, and their creatures are indestructible, and they're taking another turn. ambitious. They're pouring again. Are they trying to just, like, take a bunch of turns in a row? Like... I don't know. This whole, like, pour over the pages thing that they got going on makes me think that they're, like, a turbo version of what this deck used to be, but I don't... I feel like I don't 100% understand it. Like, I don't... Yeah. So, like, this is just kind of the whole thing, is that we're just going to try to string these things together and play the least interactive Magic that we can. Seems to be the strategy. But it doesn't have that much pressure, like, I don't know. That's a lot of extra turns that you're going to need to take. Second Snapcaster, gonna stifle. Well, they're certainly thinking about what they're gonna do, if nothing else. There's the stifle. And do I get a turn? Seems like no. Okay. Interesting. Okay, these things are still indestructible, huh? Okay. What do I want to do here? I mean, I guess I just do this. Like, oh. I'll destroy the creature that I can. And hopefully I'll be set up for not death. And I can play like Tranquil Frillback at some point to get rid of their graveyard and gain 4 life, maybe next turn. That seems like it might be a good thing to do at some point, or maybe I've missed my chance. Maybe that was the chance that I had to do it. I don't know. Okay. Okay. Let's 1, 2, 3. Okay, well, that's game then. Concede. Good game. Alright, same sort of strategy I think is gonna work. I think the main issue with my strategy there was trying to hydrate my lung tissue right before the match, which I probably shouldn't have done. All right. Well, lungs clear. Game 3. Let's do our best. So we do need a third land here, but I think this hand is fine enough. Like, we do have a Vanishing Verse for early interaction. We have our whole kind of combo all rolled up. We have the Combat Thresher, the Ephemerate, and the Eldritch Evolution. We also do have a Sarah's Emissary in hand, which is not ideal, but that's fine. So if we do get a land, then we can do most of this. Obviously, we're not, you know, we're a little far from where we need to be for Eldritch Evolution, but that's all right. You know, hopefully we'll be able to get there regardless. We do have... I think the mana base in this deck is pretty decent for ostensibly being 4 colors. I have faith. Alright, opponent has mulliganed to hell and back. I hope they got some stuff. Alright. Yeah, let's just do that. Alright, so they got their Stifle, their Mana Acceleration all rolled up. Let's play this first. And in some worlds, we get an Atraxa next turn. Depends on what they do. They are expressive iterationing, which bodes well. I hope that their dance goes well for them. I just love this person's outfit. Like, this is not traditionally like a dancing outfit. This looks like they're gonna teach at their school of Strixhaven. I guess they could be like a dancing instructor, but you would think that a dancing instructor would wear something that would probably move a little bit better than this puffy, like, Renaissance era garb, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm not a clothing genius. Most of my clothes are t-shirts with bands and Magic the Gathering on them. So, I'm not to be trusted. Alright, here we go. Eldritch Evolution into Atraxa. We'll get one of those. Get one of these. Get one of those. Seems good. Yeah, actually. Yeah, let's just do that. We gotta discard a card. Just get rid of that. Yeah. I'd rather have extra black mana. I'm only ever going to need 2 green. Alright. Well, I guess that's not true. That new frilled dinosaur requires several green to do nice things. So I guess that's... I still think that this was the correct decision at the time. And for what I have in my hand. But I need to kind of get over my older heuristic of I only need 2 green and that's it. Because multiple green makes even better frilled friends. We do have a Thresher in here if we need to get it back with a Cavalier. Not that we have one, but we could someday. I'd actually really like that frilled dinosaur here because I would like to remove their graveyard. That would be neat. But I guess I'll settle for Thoughtseize. Alright, they have taken their extra turn. I can only guess what they're gonna do with this trigger. Is it gonna be a Stifle? Is it gonna be a Gideon? It's hard to say. Could go multiple different directions. Well, they did just discard a Gideon, so I'm assuming that they have a Gideon. Nope, I think we're going for Snapcaster Stifle, maybe? Oh, no, we're drawing more cards. All right. Pouring over these pages. We love pages, folks. We love these pages. I guess I should have brought in Necromentia for Chance for Glory. I guess. Alright, well, if I ever get to untap again, I do have Vanishing Verse for this Gideon. And I do have a giant Atraxa on the table, which is helpful for preventing me from dying for now. You know, we'll see if I end the turn with her on the battlefield. I'm gonna guess not, but yep. All right. Well, let's take a peek, shall we? What you got? What you got going over there? All right. Target non-creature, non-playing card. I mean, I think I get that first, and then I do this, and I'm gonna take your Narset. And I'm actually gonna. Oh no, I did play a land. Okay. Then yeah, I'm good. I'm good here. We are very low on health. Uh-huh. Alright. Well, we've made our gambit. Now all we can see is what our opponent has. Oh, never mind. I thought that they had a trigger coming up at the end of that turn. I guess I was wrong about that. My bad. Yeah, that's fine. Good game. Alright, so we didn't get there versus this one. That was partially my mistake. I guess I got those triggers confused, and I thought that they had one coming up, and they didn't. I don't know that there's something else I could have done there, but yeah, alright. It's a bit of a weird one. I probably should have put in the Necromenches for that extra turn spell. Again, I'm just not super familiar with that deck, so that's one that I'm probably gonna have to learn a lot more about if I'm gonna wanna defeat it consistently. I did think it was an interesting sort of version of it though. Like I haven't seen a version that runs the Lotus fields and then goes turbo with pouring over the pages. That's interesting. It has a kind of Alrund's Epiphany type feel to it, where you're just like taking a bunch of extra turns. It is an interesting rogue deck for sure. I'm surprised that it's trying to like take the infinite turns in a row though with like so little pressure. It seemed. I mean, it was enough for the decks that for the games that we played, but All right. Yeah, why not? We got some lands, we got some spells, we got some early interactions. I think we're all right. All right, we got our dinosaur friend. We're gonna hold up Fatal Push, and next turn we have a Combat Thresher. Okay, they have a Hive. Good to know. We can get rid of the Hive next turn. I think it's okay that we give them a token. Maybe I am mistaken there. We will have to hold up. This is an artifact as well, which is interesting. Oh. Okay, what do I want to do here? I think we're gonna need to hold up some stuff, so I'm just gonna pass. That's okay. Alright, pass. Alright, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove the wedding invitation so they're not gonna draw a card. And I'm going to get rid of one of these tokens, at the very least. Alright. Let's not tap for it like that. Let's tap for it like this. Auto pay, auto pay. Let's get rid of that and your graveyard. And I just hope that they don't have the curiosity at this moment. And if they do, then I hope we top deck an Eldritch Evolution so that we can get our Shieldred onto the battlefield. Alright, well they're getting 2 of them, which is unfortunate. Is it 2 Sarah's Emissaries? I hope it's... No, it's Atraxa 2! Shoot. Alright, they got us this time around. I mean, I'll see what I draw, obviously, because, like, we can still stabilize from this, but we need to do so immediately, and I don't have any part of that doing so in my hand, so... Still, though, Eldritch Evolution gets us pretty far. It kills one of these, and I do have a 3rd mana so that I can get Yorion to hand. Although they have a lot of stuff there. Well, we'll see what we draw. Not something that I want to show them, and not something that helps us. So let's go to game 2. Gonna put in some Thought Seizes. Yeah, we're gonna put in those. All of those cards are important. Lonely End isn't good. Fatal Push at least gets rid of tokens. Cavalier, we don't want Massacre Girl. Herald of Vengeance, I just don't think that that's the game that we're playing. We have 4 cards to cut, huh? Is this gonna be doing anything? No. They do have a lot of enchantments, but I don't think they use their graveyard really, so I think that that's fine to cut. Vanishing Verse I like because it hits the early game stuff. Well, I mean, ideally, we aren't going to be needing this. Let's actually, yeah, like, let's put in a Necromentia so that we can get rid of the creativity. Let's actually get in 2 of those, and then we just need to cut 1 more card. I guess we can cut a Timeless Witness. Let's try this. Let's see if this, let's see if this works. Yeah, sure, why not? We got all our mana. Tybalt, please. 9116. Alright. So, we have Vanishing Verse for an early, well, probably not Legion's Landing, but, you know, for, let's get this out of the way now. I think that this is a fine time to sneak that in. Alright, let's just name the creativity, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay. There we go. Alright, so you got 1. They still have Transmogrify, which is unfortunate. But I'll deal with that in the future. And it's only 1 target. What else they got in here? They have 1 Atraxa, they have 3 Serra's Emissaries. Okay. That's important to know. Okay. And this is an instant. No, it's a sorcery. Okay. I gotta just do that here. Next turn I can play the Skyclave Apparition. I just, you know, I can't drop Vanishing Verse. My opponent actively has that polymorph in their hand, or whatever it's called, Transmogrify. Well, there's that. They draw their card. And we get to go slightly ham. Just ever so slightly ham. Full control. Submit 1. Ephemerate. Submit. Autopay. Turn off full control. Okay, there goes their token makers. They still obviously do have a token, but that's okay. And they're going to get another one, assuming that I am going to ephemerate this again to pick up something else, but we'll see what the opponent does. Yep, we're going to allow that to happen, because it's going to give us our Peddler. What you got? What you got? We'll take Fable, because that was something they were about to cast. Alright, so now we can blink this. We can get their Serra's Emissary. And we can switch out our Juggernaut Peddler for a Witness. And I'm actually going to get this back, believe it or not. Alright, good game. Whoops, didn't get a chance. Alright. So I think that worked out okay. Necromentia is a little rough because I'm going to have to... They have two things that they're fetching out, and they have two means of doing it. But hopefully with the 8 other like hand disruption cards, it won't be terrible to get that stuff. It's also unfortunate that it gives them a token, because that could be the very thing that they need to go off. But we'll see. We got there in game 2. We'll see if we can get there in game 3. Alright, 9116. I do like the rotational symmetry that your name has, but we must defeat you now. Opponent goes first. This feels like it's a little slow, but we do have outs to, like, we do have our combo in our hand, so I guess we keep it to just go for it. Maybe we can get to our Serra's Emissary before they can get to theirs. I'm not sure. Yeah, we'll do this first. So we get to Combat Thresher on our turn. They get to burn this away or transmogrify on their turn, and there's not a ton we can do about it. Looks like they have an instant to kill our Thresher here. Yup. Alright, well, we got a Hive. That's neat. Alright, well, they don't have it right now, which is reassuring. So we can Blade Splicer. That should hold down the ground for like a moment, at least. No. I got this one. Unless you got a second Volcanic Spite. Alright, they get their third Might. And a Wedding Announcement. We will get one more Golem here. Oh. I'm not 100% sure, but our opponent was done with us. Okay. I don't know what they did. I don't know what their hand looked like, and I don't know what their board looked like. Or like their sideboarding looked like. So I don't really understand that. But all right. All right. What are we? 2-1 at the moment. See if we can keep up the streak. Plus 10. Plus 10? I don't know. It looks like French, and I do not speak French. sadly. It's Mulligan. Mulligan again. Jeez Louise. Oh my god. Alright, well. Not the best series of hands, but we got to something that we can at least play. If we're up against mono green, this is not the greatest start for us, but they don't seem to have had the most blazing start either. We'll see what they got going on for us. Well, I'm looking forward to resolving this Juggernaut Peddler, seeing what's going on with our opponent, seeing if we can let them know about this great deal we have on offer. It's gonna be such a good deal. All right, yeah, that's what we got to do here. It's not the. I wish we had a land as well, but we don't. So. Alright, so they have a Vorinclex, they have a Leonin War Leader, and they have a Felidar Retreat. They can... I'm going to get rid of the Vorinclex for now. Because I can deal with this Leonin War Leader much more easily if I just get a white source. Or, I could just kill it in combat. Yeah. Alright. They almost wanted to go for it, but decided to not go for it. Just blech. Alright, well, if that's happening, I have to do this before I can't do that anymore. Now I need a white source immediately. I missed saying good game. Oh well. Alright, so they're on a ramp deck, but it looks like they are running like some just like white, like green white, like normal, like nothing like none of the mono green ramp type stuff, just like they're running beefy creatures and then creatures that add more mana when they have beefy creatures. So probably don't need these, and then I just need to cut one more card, and then I think we're, well, no, I do want to put in those, so we gotta cut 3 more. Okay, probably Massacre Girl is fine because he gets the Herald of Vengeance. We probably put on the sideboard for now. And Lonely End, I think we can cut down on. Yeah, we'll keep 1. I'm wondering if Lonely Vengeance or Lonely End or Witch's Vengeance is better. I'm just gonna keep Lonely End in because we can gain some life off of it. This fella needs to watch out. He's spitting everywhere. It's kind of a little gross. All right, not a fast hand. We are hoping to get a basic land type, but if we don't, then that's fine. We will just very slowly develop our board. All right, there's that fella. Let's just do this for now. Next turn, we can play Combat Thresher and have Ephemerate up for it. Which is probably fine. Yeah, let's do this. Boop. 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 Alright. So we really do need to draw a black source, assuming that they're going to drop a Vorinclex here. Alright. Well, we would still like to draw Black Source. I mean, we do have the D-Spark, obviously, but it would be nice. Oh, well, I get a free lunch. So we do get to get in there and kill that Planeswalker, which is nice. And we are going to check out their hand. We will take the Vorinclex. And the Shieldred doesn't seem like it's gonna matter a ton, so we'll put her down later. Like, the things that they have in their hand are like Felidar Retreats for lands, so... And Shieldred doesn't hit those. Oh, well, we got this, so that's nice. Play that, put that over there. Get this to hand. Boop, boop, boop. Alright. Now they have a Felidar Retreat, they have a Juggernaut, they have an Authority of the Consuls. Alright. Good game. Because they run all of those enchantments, it might be best to run, instead of this, to run one of these. And that is what I'm gonna do. Yeah, let's just run this. Let's see what kind of an opening hand we get. Let's see if we're gonna make some deals. Some terrible, terrible deals. We are. We are. All right. Let's dust off our MLM notebook. Let's get our let's get our sales points fresh in our memory. So we are gonna be making some trades today. Never before seen. Hot off the assembly line. I'll take the cheap spell. All right. Pretty good for us that is the way things are. Let's just get this into our hand because it's more mana efficient. Alright. That is not going to get them an untapped land, which is nice. So that's going to give us an entire another turn of being great salesman. Nice. Let's just play this. What is this? One or more, twice that many tokens would be created instead. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna pass here because they have too many, like, good cards for us to take a look at, so. Alright, they get their token. Now we can do this, and we are going to get their Vorinclex and their well, okay, we're gonna get their Vorinclex, and then I guess we're gonna get a Mondrak. You know what? I think it's so good to do that I'm gonna do that again. Because I'd prefer them to just not have anything in their hand worth casting. Obviously, they still have this big fella, but hopefully we will have dealt with that by the time it's relevant. Alright, let's put this onto the battlefield. And let's cast this. They do get a life, but I do make them sacrifice either the Juggernaut or the creature that gets more mana out of them having a Juggernaut. Alright, they keep their mana around. We are attacking with both. They have fallen for my trap. They do gain a life, but now they also have a 4 of a kind. They have 4 Juggernauts in their hand. Ooh, getting a little saucy. All right, let's get Vivian out here. Let's start making some tokens. Vigilance tokens. Yep. Play that tapped. And we are going to attack into the sky. We do have Sheoldred, who will block. What are they going to do? Token? Nope. Probably should have played that Juggernaut first, I would guess, but that's fine. Alright, we make our move. We Malakir Rebirth. We trade. Sheoldred comes back. They concede. Good games. Alright. We have done our thing. All right, so far so good. I think we're 3-1 at this point. Take a look. I call this one a no bat just because it doesn't have battles in it. Yeah, you belong here, you belong here. The only thing is, like, I feel like I should be running Massacre, like... Taking out these Necromancers. I don't think Massacre Girl makes a ton of sense in the main. Like, it's just... It's good against some decks, but it's, like, pretty specific which ones it's good against. So let's do that. And let's just, instead of running that one card, let's run... You know what, let's run an additional Tranquil Frillback. That's what we'll do. We'll try that. That means that we will be worse off against some of the combo decks, but they're rare in the format, and, like, we have things that we can use to interact with them already in the deck, so maybe it's fine. We'll see if it's fine. It would suck to inherit a Juggernaut dealership on the edge of First Strike Golem area. That's just not... That's just bad location for that particular service. We're up against Lord Grim, who is running blue-white artifacts. Alright, and they do have a Retrofitter Foundry. Disheartening, disheartening. Well, at least we have a lonely end for whatever is coming after this 4-4. I'm assuming an armor smith or whatever that is. No? Alright, well. We're prepared for when it does happen. Or, you know, one thing we could do is just Skyclave Apparition next turn. Okay, well. Well. Let's get rid of you. Gain our life. We can cast this, which we can use to chump block. Alright. Now, they don't have the Sigardas thing, so they can't flash it in. They might not even have anything, because they would have done it pre-combat. Okay, they do have a Sigarda's Aid. Okay. So then they don't have it, or else they definitely would have done that pre-combat. Good to know. Alright, here's this. We're gonna take the Sigarda's Aid. No attacks, end turn. Interesting. They didn't make a thing, but that's okay. Alright, well they got another Sigarda's Aid, so whatever. Well, we're gonna block. And we are going to do this. And we are going to get rid of their Retrofitter Foundry for now. That's fine. And we're going to drop Vivian, who is going to make a reach creature. And we're going to hope that this is good enough to not die. But we'll see. Okay. Well, we haven't died yet, so we're doing all right on that front, at the very least. Okay, now we can do this. And do this. Yup. We're gonna get one of these to get rid of that. I'm just gonna get back Lonely End so we can get some life back. Yeah, sure, I'll play that. Could have played that turn out a little bit better. I could have had Lonely End up. But hopefully that's fine. Let's have to pay more attention to stuff like that in the future. Okay, well, I'm definitely blocking you, boy. Okay, now we get to see what they're working with. Show me what you're working with. As my friend Juvenile once said. We're best friends. I mean, I guess I'll take one of them. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this because, geez Louise, we're in rough shape, and we're gonna get this to our hand because we very badly need it on the battlefield. What we got? All right. Good game. Okay, so Lord Grim. Let's put in this because it destroys artifacts. Let's put in this because it gets rid of their little Lilins on the ground. We don't need a track, so we don't need Vorinclex. We do want Thoughtseizes. Just thinking about, like, Blade Splicer, and if we need Blade Splicer. That's, like, not really what this deck is doing, huh? Yeah, I think it's better to have the other kinds of interaction. They are in blue, so it's probably worth running some number of Witch's Vengeances. We'll run 2 instead of these 2 Lonely Ends. And, hope that that's fine. Yeah, sure, why not? Maybe it's possible that we should be cutting the Vivians instead. Yeah, that probably makes more sense. It probably makes more sense to just cut the Vivians. We're not getting to like 5 mana consistently. All right, so if we make it to game 3, I'm gonna chop those Vivians for the cheap removal. Let's run with this. Seems fine. All right, well it seems less than fine now, but I mean. We taking 10? No, we're taking 10. Yeah. Oh, no, we're just taking 1. Alright, well, let's take a peek at what they got going on over there. Well. Okay. It's another thing that we're going to have to deal with. I think, well, we'll leave our options open. I am going to attack here. Because they're going to use their thing. Resolve. And we're going to destroy it. Resolve. Resolve. Yeah, we are gonna pay for that. And then we're just gonna do this. So that at least got rid of some of their options. And they seem to have forgotten about the backside of Ephemerate. So we get to do this. We get to take their cat. We get to play Godless Shrine. And we get to pass. Now we have an Eiganjo we can use on their 4/4 if that seems like where we need to be, or we have a Lonely End to use on the 5/5 because that's where that seems like it's going. All right, so let's do that. Auto pay. I will block. And we are just going to run this out there. They do get to draw a card. That is true. That is a true fact about the matter. But I hope that that's fine. I hope that we won't be destroyed for our hubris. Well, it seems as though we might be getting destroyed for our hubris after all. unfortunately. They gonna attack me? Me? It's fine. Alright, it's all up to what we draw. Or I mean, like, what's on the top of the deck. Sadly, I don't think that's gonna do it. Yeah, that's not gonna do it. Alright. Good game. That's too bad. Alright, just try to think about what we can do. I don't know that Witch's Vengeance is good, honestly. I think we need instant speed removal, not sorcery speed. If they get an invisible stalker, we just need to Shieldred. Like, I think that's just what we're gonna need to do. I think the other means of interaction just aren't good enough. We don't have any black, so I'm gonna mulligan. Alright, well, this isn't a stellar hand either, but we at least have a means of interacting with an equipment once it's come into play, so I count that as a fine thing. Okay, well, I don't like that, though. I don't like that. I guess we were too slow this time. We'll just get this into our hand, and then we'll pass, and we'll see what happens. Alright, not ideal, but we'll see what we can do about it. It's a pretty good series of cards. Alright. Well, we'll do what we can. We will destroy their equipment. Okay. So let's do this, and let's get rid of their cat. And okay. 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 So they're like spouting off some creatures, but okay, that gets attached to a different target creature? No? Okay. Alright, I'm gonna take that point of damage so that I can Herald on my turn. I will auto pay for one of these and then decline the other one. We're gonna destroy that. Okay, we're not doing that then, I guess. Now we're gonna decline. We're just gonna do this to get rid of their flyers. Okay. Well, I hope I draw a black source. I really hope I draw a black source. Well, we didn't get there on that, but at least we can do this, get rid of that, and this, check their hand for anything unsavory. And we'll take the Sigarda's Aid. And we'll see, alright, there's the Juggernaut. Alright, well. Get all these fellas onto the battlefield. Get rid of that, because that murders me. Okay, and they didn't have anything in their hand as of then, so I think we might be in okay shape. I mean, we'll see. We have blocks lined up for everything this turn. We have a Wrath in our hand. Okay. So what's interesting here is that we can just block it. Alright, so we keep our Yorion, which is interesting. Ooh. Let's get in there and attack. And then poof goes everybody. Sorry, everybody. It's Massacre Girl time. Let's do that correctly. And then hopefully we don't just straight up lose here. We do have a menace attacker, so it would be very difficult for them to defend with just the one card. I don't think that there is a way that they could somehow play a creature and then give it haste and then equip things, but good game. All right, we did it. Massacre Girl coming in clutch, as she very often does. Massacre Girl is the type of card that is either incredibly clutch or incredibly useless, and I'm happy that it was clutch here. All right, let's play. Yeah, I can do one more, and then I should probably get to doing other things. So we're doing all right so far. Certainly better than the last stream that I did. So yeah, like I don't think that this deck is maybe 100% there yet, but like I feel like we're getting closer. I feel like I'm getting closer to kind of isolating the best parts of this deck and getting rid of the kind of cruft. Like the deck feels a lot more consistent now. A lot more of the cards feel like they synergize together. Alex 23191, huh? In the Dark, I guess I'll keep. It's slow, but we're on the play. We do have two means of getting additional value out of this Skyclave Apparition, so let's do this instead. We might end up just cycling that. Yep. Let's get rid of Captain over there. Captain Eberhardt? Captain E. Giada, interesting. Let's pass. I don't think I want to get rid of Giada necessarily. I think I want to get rid of the other angels and not Giada. Well, I mean, if you're doing that, then I guess I'll just do this. Because I do get another bite at the apple, so might as well prevent myself some damage, and, yeah, get rid of that as well while we're here. Alright, there's that. Alright, so we are going to the top of things, so I am going to play that now. And we are going to pass here. I will Malakir rebirth the Combat Thresher and trade with one of the tokens in combat, if I am given the opportunity to do so. I just realized that their deck is 169 cards at this moment. Interesting. They have like 181 cards. Alright, I'm making the play that I talked about. I don't understand what they're doing or why, but I respect the hell out of them for doing it. Alright, there's that. So I guess what we do is we just attack. And then we can blink. Blink our fellas. Draw a card, get rid of their Heliod. Get a Juggernaut Peddler so we can see what the hell's going on in their hand. Aurelia, okay. Nobody gets the bonus. Alright, it is our turn now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But we don't have the blue, sadly. Yeah, let's do this, and let's take a peek at their hand. And then I'll determine what I want to do with the rest of my life. They have a Herald, and they have a Lyra. And they have a Righteous Valkyrie. I'm going to take the Herald. And I think, given what they have, it makes the most sense to do this. Well, all right. Let's do this. It may be confusing. Why would I be attacking? They can just block. And they're thinking all kinds of thoughts, but then they just block, because why wouldn't they? There's no reason to not. Or is there? No, it was fine. It was a fine block. Okay, so we do this. 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 Alright. Now we have a bunch of creatures that have protection from creatures. We got rid of their Aurelia. We're getting rid of their Lyra. Good game. Alright, so we want Vanishing Verse, we want D-Sparks. I don't think we need Tranquil Frillback. I don't think Lonely End is that like good of a card in this instance. And I'm gonna put in a Thoughtseize, I guess, because I really just don't know what they're doing. They have a 200 card deck. Like, I don't know if we saw. Actually, we're not running Thoughtseize. We're running Massacre Girl because they are probably running like the Soul Sisters, right? I mean, if they're running the Angel, like, it just seems like that makes sense. Oh, and also we saw the 1/1 that makes Angels when they're 7 life or over. So, yeah, that makes sense to me. Okay, so brilliant sideboarding job. Brilliant job. All right, so we have turn 2 Juggernaut Peddler. We are going to convince our opponent to buy some wares that they may not get full value from, if we're being quite frank about it. Because I do have a Blade Splicer and Combat Thresher and Ravenous Chupacabra in hand, so it's an uphill battle for that Juggernaut, and Juggernauts don't do well on the uphill. It's actually better if they reverse uphill than if they drive forward up the hill, just because of how their transmission and everything works. But Urza's Ruinous times creatures and planeswalkers gain, if this would die, exile it instead, and then you deal 5 damage to something. Sure, I'll take that because it's the cheapest thing. And I'll just be mindful of the fact that they have a 5-mana Wrath in their hand. Alright, let's draw a card. Alright, not bad. Here comes the Juggernaut. And here comes our Blade Splicer. Okay, they can't cast their spell yet because they don't have a creature, legendary creature. Now they do. But I'm gonna destroy that creature with my Chupacabra. And then we'll just have to blink it for the Platinum Angel. Like, I don't see another way through it other than doing that, so that's what we're gonna do. Well, that's too bad. Yeah, I'm just gonna do this, that's fine. No. Yeah, actually, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Because otherwise I'd be taking 10. Because, I'm not, like, I'm doing this on this turn. Next turn, I have Blade Splicer and Yorion to hand. This is a land, I'm pretty sure. Oh, no, actually, no, I don't know. That's the fresh card that they drew. There's a Sylex. Destroy all other... except for 6 lands. Okay, well, I'm playing my 6th land. Hooray! And I'm going to attack. I'm going to get this into my hand. And I'm going to end the turn. I'm going to hold Malakir Rebirth up because I do need my Chupacabra in play. Alright. And yeah, I just don't see any reason to play anything at the moment. Alright, I will rebirth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we will cycle this. Alright, my turn. Another Maliki Rebirth is really good. And we'll keep getting in there for damage. We do have Rebirth so that we can save the Chupacabra from any Wrath or similar effect. We have Yorion to blink the Chupacabra so that it can kill the Platinum Angel. And we have a Fatal Push just because. Yeah, we're just gonna do this. Alright, and because I have the Ephemerate in hand, I am also going to do this. Because now that's lethal on my turn. Yeah, all they can do is play Platinum Angel, and then I blink the Chupacabra. I neglect to Ephemerate again, or I guess I could target this for 10. No, I need every point, so I just do this. Good game. 2, 3. Yep. 3, 6, 9. Yep. Hey. All right. So we started in like the 400s and we wound up at 180. So yeah, like I think I've been making pretty decent progress with this sort of list. It does seem to be, I do seem to be the only one out there that's even playing with these cards. So which is an interesting experience. So yeah, it's doing all right. I think that this version is pretty good. I like running the 4th Lonely End over the 4th Fatal Push if there has to be a choice. I do think that Massacre Girl probably belongs in the sideboard, and I'm not sure about this other Tranquil Frillback. This should probably honestly be something else, but for right now, it's Tranquil Frillback, so we're just going to leave it there. And yeah, we did basically everything that the deck likes to do today. We blinked a Combat Thresher, we Eldritch Evolutioned it into like our big stuff. We I think we used Vivian's -2 a few times to good effect, so which is something that we're more able to do because I am playing a few additional 5-drops versus some of the other builds that I've used in the past. So yeah, the list is in a pretty decent place. I'm just gonna keep, you know, making tweaks to it, and we'll see if we can do something. We'll see if we can do something fancy with it. We'll see if there's like a tournament coming up that I can stream or something like that, because I really like this deck. I think it's a lot of fun to play. It gives you some fun decision trees, and like any deck where you get to sell Juggernauts to your opponent is just straight up delightful. Like, especially where you activate your trap card of playing a Blade Splicer. Like, I don't know, there's a lot of synergies in this list. There's a lot of neat ways that all of the cards interact. It's a lot of fun. I would recommend giving it a shot. And you can find the list wherever you're watching this video in the comments. I'll make sure to post a link to it. So hopefully you folks are having as great of a day as I have had with my nice Magic card deck that seems to be doing well. I always like it when a brew comes together and it actually wins matches, so I'm very pleased, and I hope that you folks are pleased in your own lives with something similar. So until next time, that's it for me, and I will see you. Have a great rest of your night.